Welcome to our Spirit Calling Healer interview series. And for those of you who are new to me, first of all, I'm Jacqueline Kane, Master Energy Healer and Low Back Pain Specialist. And Sandra and I are part of a group called Spirit Calling, where we will be leaving the links in the comments below if you want to check them out. It's a beautiful group community that is being created by Lisa Roach and Pamela Downs to help people on their journey, their healing journey. And today I have the amazing Sandra Lee with me, and she's going to share how she helps people heal and live their best life. So welcome, Sandra.
Oh, thank you, Jacqueline. It's been wonderful knowing you, getting to know you better, and being part of the Spirit Calling community.
Yeah.
It's really been thriving lately, and lots of wonderful things going on. So, if you're a healing-oriented person, or if you're interested in healing-oriented things, then come over, check out Spirit Calling. So, I am Sandra Lee, and I am a human design specialist and a biofield tuning practitioner. Biofield tuning is using a tuning fork and a hockey puck to make sounds for healing in the energy field. And I help people illuminate their divine path. Like, why am I here? What is it I'm doing? How is it I'm here to contribute to people in the world? Whether it's in work that I do, or even if it's just being. One of the big things about human design is it helps people understand the gifts that they're living 24/7, all the time. And I love helping people understand because they think, oh, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know why I'm here. Helping you realize that every minute of the day you are contributing. Even when it feels like I'm a mess or I'm afraid or all these things from the past and these belief systems and what other people think about me, all of that may be going on and you are still living your purpose.
I love that. So can you share with people how you got into your healing work?
Oh, yeah. So I remember being 6 years old and I'm sitting on the floor with one of those little tiny notebooks, the little spiral notebooks with the lines, and grasping my pencil and making these marks of the times that I got in trouble. I used to tally them, little groups of 5.
Really?
Yes. I got in trouble every day. I still have a callus on my finger from gripping my pencil so hard.
Oh my gosh.
And I used to think everything I do and say is wrong. And at the same time, I used to promise myself, I'm never going to speak again. Which meant I felt like an utter failure all the time because it's impossible to not speak. So everything I did and said was wrong. And I felt so disconnected from people, completely not seen, completely not understood. And so naturally, I became a healer to connect with people and to help people feel like they're seen, that somebody in the world gets them, or at least wants to get them. And being a person who takes care of people. These are survival mechanisms that you and I know we develop to deal with trauma. Not being seen, not being received. How do I take care of you? What do you need? How can I figure out what you need before you know you need it? So we can take care of people and have things be as safe as possible for ourselves. So that's how I got into doing healing work.
And that hits me right in the heart because I think there's so many of us who have shut down at a very young, early age. And you mentioned the age of 6. I mean, it's very young to be focusing on all the wrong things you were doing, right? Yeah. So what have you learned about energy and healing?
I learned through doing body work for 30 years and then energy work for a long time that for something to work properly, whether it's my body, my mind, my thoughts, my intentions, my goals, the energy needs to flow. It needs to come from the earth through the body and out the top. And it needs to come in from the sun, from God, from the universe, through the body and connecting to the ground. And when I am injured, stuck, confused, afraid, confronted, the energy gets stuck. It stops flowing. And people don't realize, think about back pain. Part of what's going on in back pain energetically is there's stuff stuck in the area, fear, trauma, withholding, maybe injury. And it's like I am pulling my energy up for safety instead of allowing myself to open and be in that flow so that I can be grounded and whole and be myself and self-expressed. So recognizing that stuckness of the energy blocks all of that. So facilitating people in getting through whatever it is that makes them afraid, confused, stuck, in pain, muscles tight, survival, all that stuff blocks the energy up. So helping people let it flow so they can flow.
Yeah.
And a frequent thing that happens when we get the energy flowing, whether it's for the person suddenly feeling like they've been seen or healing has happened, it's like they breathe. Because when I'm in that stuck place, I'm going to say almost everybody stops breathing, which means mental clarity turns off. The ability to think turns off.
Yeah.
So getting those energy flowing and the breathing happening, really important.
And what does that look like when people are not flowing? Can you explain a little bit more of that?
Let's look at a specific situation. Thinking about if I am afraid or stressed out, where do I feel it? A lot of times people feel it in the neck and the shoulders or the lower back. So what it looks like is, what do I do when I'm in it's like I tense. I hold tension. I hold tension in my lower back. That's what it looks like physically. And a lot of people have been holding in those patterns for decades, their whole life, since childhood. You work a lot with ancestral inherited patterns and childhood trauma. All those patterns that get started way back when live in the body and get reinforced. If every time I get afraid or stuck, I hold in that same place, that's what leads to pain, tight muscles, because I've been doing it for decades.
And it is decades for many.
Oh my gosh.
Weeks and months turn into years and decades. Like I have clients who were in pain for 40, 50 years. That's a long time.
And what you and I do is help them make the connections.
Yeah.
What happened that you are storing in that area? And with that awareness of, oh, I put that there. Do I want to continue to put that there? Or do I choose to find some freedom for myself? Heal that part of me that has been injured and is stuck there, and then be able to move on and create something different. Helping people know that when they have pain, like lower back pain, neck pain, that they can do something about it is a really big deal, because people tend to feel helpless.
Yeah.
I am out of control. There is nothing I can do about this. My body has taken over. And they get stuck there, feeling helpless. And you and I give people the ability to take that control back.
Yeah.
And literally get their life back.
And it is amazing. So when they get their life back, right, to live a life that's powerful. And I'm sure that you get so excited when your clients do that, right? So what happens? What are some results that you've seen?
There is a woman who I worked on for migraine headaches. She'd had migraine headaches since she was a baby.
Oh my God.
And this woman was in her 40s when she came to me. She had done chiropractic and nutritional improvements, and it helped, but she still had debilitating headaches. She was afraid to leave the house because she wasn't sure if she was going to have a headache.
Yeah.
And her little daughter had to be quiet, mommy has a headache, kind of a thing. It was really limiting her life.
Yeah.
And I was doing biofield tuning. So using tuning forks and sound over Zoom. So I'm not with her in person. And I started doing the biofield tuning after helping her understand the physiology. I find that with physical pain related things, helping people understand what's going on in their body really makes a difference.
Yeah.
It helps them. I like to empower people to know how to help themselves. So understanding the physiology is a big part of that, at least for me. Yeah. And then I started doing biofield tuning. And about 10 minutes into it, I said, how's your headache? She said, it's going away. So we finished the tuning session. And by the end of the session, her headache was gone. We did 2 more biofield tuning sessions. And a month after that, I said, how's your headaches? And she said, I still have them, but I can control them. She would feel it coming on and then do the things that I had given her to do, and she could keep herself from having a headache.
That's wonderful.
People get their life back.
Yeah. And not only did you help her, but when you talked about what was happening with her daughter, right? What was that little daughter being raised with a mom who was like, shh, mommy's got a headache. She's also teaching her not to speak up, right?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So by what you do, you're stopping the pattern of more women in the world not speaking up. That's a gift. That's powerful.
Yeah.
And it's really needed. Yeah. So you do combine human design and biofield tuning. Can you explain those?
Human design gives you a chart similar to an astrology chart based on where the planets were at the time you were born. And it gives you a chart that's like shaped like a triangle with like energy centers, and it's kind of laid out in chakras, similar to astrology, but a little bit different. And it tells you the themes that are going to be in your life, the things you're good at, and the challenges or problems you're going to have. And it gives you practical ways of understanding your day-to-day life. And like I said way earlier, you're always living your purpose. You're living what's in this chart. And I was doing biofield tuning one day, and I started seeing the human design chart laid over the biofield. The aura, is what I'm working with when I'm doing biofield tuning. I was like, oh, these match. They're both laid out in chakras. Really, every healing system there is, all the thousands of the healing systems, they're all working with the same thing.
Right.
They're all working with the same common human issues and challenges. They're all working with the same human energy system. So by working with one, you can affect all of the others.
Yeah.
So I started working with them consciously together. When I've done somebody's human design chart, helps them understand the challenges, the experiences, the gifts in their life. And I help them tune that into their energy field. So for example, a really common experience people have is feeling like they can't be heard. They can't express themselves, can't be accepted for their truth. That shows up as blocks in the energy field around the throat. We look at the chart. Oh, there's understandable reasons why you have this challenge, and it's in your experience. Now let's help the energy move in and through your throat so that you can take who you are, the heart center, and express it through what you do and say.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, it is interesting that it's all connected, isn't it? And I love that you're putting all those pieces together. That's really, really cool. I think when I learned my own, got to know human design, it really did shift things for me in my life. So if you're watching and you're new to human design, definitely check out Sandra Lee, because I think without knowing your human design, then we're trying to push and become what we think we're supposed to be instead of who we are at a very basic blueprint divine level.
When I meet people for the first time, like networking or whatever, when we're talking, I said, oh, they tell me something interesting about themselves. I wonder how that looks in the human design chart. And I run a chart for them. And I'm sure I did that when I met with you. And I like telling them something about their chart that is like one of the most important things about them. And when I tell them that, it's like they, you see me.
Yeah.
You see me in a way that the people out there in the world don't get me. And it gives people that experience of what I call shine.
Yeah.
When I was writing our book, I was contributing to, Energy Medicine Solution. My chapter is about my discovery of this, what I call shine. When I see somebody and they see me, it's like we meet in this place where we're both being and we're both real, and we glow.
Yeah.
And I call that shine.
It's beautiful.
And so, yeah. And so that's what learning about your human design chart is like. It's like, oh, I didn't realize anybody could see that about me. And it touches people who they really are.
Yeah, because I think most people are not seen and heard. Right now, the culture is push, push, push your idea and not listen. And so to have some time be in the presence of somebody who's actually witnessing them and being and sharing it and talking about it is a gift. It's really a gift. And it takes them back a little bit. Yeah.
Well, and considering, the times right now, there's been so much suppression of people's freedom to be themselves, some freedom of expression. We are on hopefully getting to the tail end of this really intense period where we have been forced to be separate and to, not be able to express my truth out of fear of reprisal, judgment, punishment. And that is so impacting people, huge impact that's going to show up for people for a really long time.
It will. And the kids, unfortunately,
oh my gosh,
the kids who had to wear a mask all those years and who went from being in school to no longer seeing it's a shock to the system. And until they speak about it and heal it, it's going to have an impact on our society. It will.
Yeah.
And that's why your kind of tools are needed. Yes. Yes. And we know that not everybody is into energy healing. What would you tell someone who doesn't quite believe in energy healing and they doubt anything that can make a real difference over the internet? You can't help me. I have something physical. I know that's what they tell me. What are you going to do for me, Sandra?
I'm going to tell you about the story that convinced me that biofield tuning, this energy healing that I'm doing over the internet, that it actually works, because I was skeptical. I did not believe that it was going to work. Even though I've done energy healing for decades, there was a part of me that wants like concrete results. And I didn't believe it. Pandemic shutdown had happened. And a friend of mine who lives 5 minutes away from me had landed on the vacuum cleaner with her hand, and it was black and blue and she couldn't open it. So I called her on the phone and I did biofield tuning on her using my tuning fork remotely. And I'm on the phone with her doing biofield tuning. And while we are talking, the bruise goes away and she can open her hand.
Amazing.
It's like, wow, this actually works. Oh my gosh. That's what convinced me.
Yeah. And there's so many stories like that. We just have to get out of the way, right? Because if you've been in pain, and feel free to put in the comments if you're one of those people who have been in pain for not just a couple days or a couple weeks, months, years, decades. It's turning into decades. Definitely try something else, because I'm sure Sandra has many clients who right now are full believers and telling everybody they know how she helped them, because energy is the missing piece to real long-lasting healing.
I'm going to say it's more than just energy. You work with connecting this symptom you have with these other pieces.
Yes.
And yes, we're working with energy, but it's not just energy.
Correct.
It's putting the context into it.
There's a lot of understanding, right? Like when you and I work with people, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of explanation, there's a lot of understanding, and helping somebody see the connection, right, of how they got here. When I say it's all about energy, or energy is the missing piece, we have to look at our physical pain more than just the physical. Underneath every physical ailment, illness, disease is an energy and emotion that's been carried. Whether it's that person who has not felt that she's allowed to be seen and heard, all that stuffed energy is going to come out as physical pain. It's energy. Energy needs to move, right? Emotions are energy in motion. So this, if it's stuck inside of you, it wants to come out, because we've stuffed it for so long.
Yes. I talk about that everything that has ever happened to you is stored in your energy field. It's stored in your physical body. It's stored in your emotional state. It's stored on all of these different levels.
Yeah.
And if we ignore any of them, it's possible that it will never change.
Yeah.
But when we bring awareness to the fact that this thing that I am dealing with, oh, it's related to that, and it's related to that, and it's related to that.
Yeah.
And, I talked about my inner 6-year-old. How I talk about this is my inner 6-year-old pulls the circuit breakers.
Yes.
Anytime I have an intention, she gets afraid is protecting me, and she shuts me off.
Yeah.
So depending on what you out there are dealing with, if you have that inner child, inner person saying, oh, that's not safe, turn you off. You're not going there. You're not doing that.
I'm not doing it. Yeah.
And that can look like pain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't go because my back hurts. I can't go because I have a headache. I can't do that because it's not going to be possible for me because of these limitations. So when you understand why those things are in there, because sometimes there's a reason why they're in there, and say, oh, you know what? Thank you for taking care of me. You don't need to do that anymore. I can handle the physical world, because usually it's these inner children. They're not actually physically here walking the body around.
Right.
The adult person, who is the one who has all of the ability to do anything physical, is the one who can handle the world's circumstances. And let the inner child, my 6-year-old, she doesn't have to exhaust herself, exhaust me by protecting me all the time.
Yeah.
It's no longer necessary.
Allow her to play and evolve. Yeah.
When I work with people and their inner children are so glad to be communicated with, to be listened to.
Finally. Yeah.
Yes. And they are exhausted.
Yeah.
I've been doing this forever.
Thank you.
Thank you for finally taking this load, this huge responsibility off of me so I don't have to do it anymore. Oh my goodness, it changes everything.
Yeah. And that's another way that you empower people to understand all these different psyches of themselves. Yeah. Beautiful. So I know you have a workshop coming up. Would you like to tell us about that?
Yes, perfect for this conversation. My workshop is a biofield tuning workshop for the Energy Medicine Solution workshop series. And I am working on being seen and heard. Heal the trauma with biofield tuning. And like we were talking about earlier, the past couple of years have been really, really hard on everyone. Yeah. And there's been so much suppression of self-expression and freedom to be. People normally have issues with being seen and heard, just like from growing up in life. And then we pile this last couple of years on top of it. And there are a lot of people that have, I'm going to say, overreacted to the current situation because of their history.
Yeah.
Having that stuff in the past makes me very reactive now to fear, to control, all of that stuff. And so we have accumulated this massive amount of fear and suppression associated with our freedom to be seen and heard. Mm-hmm. So the biofield tuning session is going to be I call these the human collective, working on all of humanity issues and providing healing for each of us to offload some of this stuff that's been piled onto us. And if we have time, to also work with the child part as well, to start finding some freedom from this block to being seen and heard.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I know I'm going to be there. And this is for the people who have been doing a lot of work, right? Whether you've been doing tons of work or whatever, or you're just curious about checking this out, really do your best to get to this workshop. You will leave transformed, feeling lighter, refreshed. It's really going to be an amazing, amazing workshop. So definitely show up for that. And how can people connect with you?
They can go to my website, miracleinspirations.com. And there is a specific website if you want to register for the workshop. And there will be a link with the video for that. You're welcome to send me an email. I'll put that in there too. And if you want to talk with me about doing human design and biofield tuning, then there's a place where you can set up a free consultation.
Awesome. We'll definitely leave those links in the comment. And is there anything you'd like to, any last words for people?
I like reminding people, like I talked about earlier, you are always giving your gifts, always making your contribution. Even when you feel like you're down in the pit, in the dumps, and you don't want to come out, you're always there making a difference. And so to breathe in that moment and allow your energy to flow, start to, when I'm stuck, it's like I pull my energy in, I compress. It's like, oh, what difference does it make when I actually look up and out and start to see the world instead of just this little closed in space? Yeah. Things are possible that you might not realize are possible.
So much is possible. Sandra, thank you so much for being with us and for sharing your gifts and for all that you're doing for humanity and your clients and everybody. Definitely check her out and check out Spirit Calling. All of these links will be in the comments. And have the most amazing day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. It's been wonderful.
Yes.